You know how I have OCD, Tourette's, and ADD? How vaccines had nothing to do with it? It runs in my family. It's amazing how well we do with limited productivity, the pain, stress, not to mention how we're held down systematically. You know how hard it was for me to not only get but keep a job? It took me 5.5 years to graduate from college. Hear lame excuses from crushes like you're just too tall. It's discrimination. I don't really care what you call it. But if we're lucky enough to get ahead in life, at the liberty of someone else's kindness, it's either blissful ignorance or an overwhelming time that words can only begin to describe. COCD is more than just Sheldon loving his spot. It's unbearable discomfort when life changes too much. It's the fear when things get so far out of my control in a life I'm trying really hard to love. Tourette's sometimes makes my motor functions lock up. Hard to get a single sentence out without a stutter. That's why I've never really liked the physical act of talking. In either way, I'd rather be alone with my thoughts. I wish teachers growing up would have stopped thinking I was misbehaving when I couldn't focus on completely useless information. If you don't want kids like me to get distracted, be more entertaining. And don't expect us to learn stuff that doesn't pertain. Bipolar runs in my family, though I've never been diagnosed. Never really been manic, but get more excited than most. Admittedly, I do get angry and a little paranoid. That and the sadness always feel justified though. That's a blessing in disguise. To be more in touch with my emotions and to find the root cause of them. I'm grateful for the heightened sense of self-awareness, because from that comes healing if you really try. I'm grateful I can use what I learned to help anyone going through the same thing get through it as soon as they get to it, because healing shouldn't have to be earned. How do you know when you've healed? When you're content, maybe even happy? When you're confident and love yourself? Can face things without anxiety? Is it a conscious decision you make? Or does it happen inadvertently over time? Nevertheless, it's a goal you have to work toward. By addressing every issue head on. Death, failure, and loneliness can leave some nasty scars, but I know now and deep down within that every experience, no matter when, made me wiser and more compassionate. Took a lot of faith when I was in the middle of it. You can't grow if you remain stagnant and complacent. Every failure is a lesson in what not to do, so you can know better next time you try what you knew. Loneliness taught me better time management, patience, and to appreciate the times that were legit. The passing of a loved one is always traumatic, but more often than not, it brings us all together. Reminded us to spend more time with each other and to cherish each moment because we might not get another. So in a way, that's a blessing in disguise. To be more in touch with my emotions and to find the root cause of them. I'm grateful for the heightened sense of self-awareness, cause from that comes healing if you really try. I'm grateful I can use what I learned to help anyone going through the same thing, get through it as soon as they get to it. Cause healing shouldn't have to be earned. When you're like me, you get bullied a lot. They say either I'm too quiet or I come on too strong. I can only read the room, not their minds. But if they don't want me in their lives, then that's their loss, not mine. It's their loss if they think I'm clingy because I'm loyal, if they think I take advantage because I'm compassionate. It's simply in my nature to be adamant about finding someone who judges the heart and the soul. I'm not mad at them, if anything, the opposite. I feel bad for them. Projecting insecurities is unfortunate. I pray they grow up and finally find peace and realize that love, if they want, can be easy. So in a way, that's a blessing in disguise. To be more in touch with my emotions and to find the root cause of them. I'm grateful for the heightened sense of self-awareness, cause from that comes healing if you really try. I'm grateful I can use what I learned to help anyone going through the same thing, get through it as soon as they get to it. Cause healing shouldn't have to be earned. All the time I see friends afraid to be happy, scared of what might happen if things go wrong. And while it's right to be cautious because life can get crappy, it was their wisdom and judgment that got them to that spot. So as long as they work hard to stay there and keep that positive state of mind, there's no reason to be scared. They're the captains of their own lives. So in a way, that's a blessing in disguise. To be more in touch with my emotions and to find the root cause of them. I'm grateful for the heightened sense of self-awareness, cause from that comes healing if you really try. I'm grateful I can use what I learned to help anyone going through the same thing, get through it as soon as they get to it, cause healing shouldn't have to be earned.
I commend you for seeking help. Some people don't for the longest time. As sad as it may be, there's deeper reasons why. If they're afraid of being judged for anything they did, if they feel like they're a burden, if they ever reach out, or if they just don't know how to process what they're feeling, if they just can't get it out of their mouth.
I feel that. My family wonders why I can get unusually quiet sometimes, why you rarely see it on my face when I'm excited. They say I should talk about my feelings more, but when I do, all they say is I have anger issues. Never occurred to them maybe they struck a nerve. Never occurred to them men can be insecure. No matter what I express, I'm always overreacting. So I throw a party in my head and don't invite anyone. There's a reason I'm never interacting with the people who ruin the fun.
I wish they knew nothing they could do would surprise me. That most people act irrational when excited, nervous, scared, confused, or in danger, so they don't need to hide their trauma, fear, or pain, or anger. Sometimes rational thoughts don't come till later, and that's totally okay. It happens all the time, long as they learn from their experience and grow stronger and wiser. I commend you for seeking help. Some people don't for the longest time. As sad as it may be, there's deeper reasons why. If they're afraid of being judged for anything they did, if they feel like they're a burden, if they ever reach out, or if they just don't know how to process what they're feeling, if they just can't get it out of their mouth.
See, what bothers me about therapy, about hotlines and support groups is the anonymity. Makes it feel like strangers are the only ones who care about me. I should be able to reach out to friends and family.
No one should ever feel like a burden, but sometimes loved ones can feel overwhelmed if they don't have the skills necessary to provide anyone with adequate help. I know professionals can get expensive. That's why these hotlines are a godsend. They're not hard to find. Just with simple search, you're one call away from a friend. I commend you for seeking help. Some people don't for the longest time. As sad as it may be, there's deeper reasons why. If they're afraid of being judged for anything they did, if they feel like they're a burden, if they ever reach out, or if they just don't know how to process what they're feeling, if they just can't get it out of their mouth. And sometimes we're not supposed to carry the weight alone. Sometimes everything doesn't make sense. It's too much to comprehend. I commend you for seeking help. Some people don't for the longest time. As sad as it may be, there's deeper reasons why. If they're afraid of being judged for anything they did, if they feel like they're a burden, if they ever reach out, or if they just don't know how to process what they're feeling, if they just can't get it out of their mouth.
I feel like this industry is constantly understaffed. Not taking new patients for months is really bad. Some of us need a professional more than twice a year. Is it too hard to get a job or do well in school in this field?
As you know, if you're not born with a lot of money, it's really hard to get into a good school. They're not exactly headhunting enough in minority communities where they really should be trying to fill the high demand for Spanish-speaking therapists. We'd be really good. Being Hispanic myself, keeping up grades was really hard. Racism made everyone doubt my abilities, so I had to put in twice as much work to do just as well as the white kids. And once you're in, all anyone cares about is capital. God forbid you actually try to help anyone. Oh, it's more economical to treat than to cure. You're not a business person, you're a healthcare professional.
It's amazing some of these pill pushers still have jobs as much as they get in trouble with the law. I mean, don't you think it's awful that some will overprescribe meds they help produce just to make a profit?
Write to your lawmakers, because I completely agree. We need a move in the House and Senate to regulate this industry. I am not against vaccines. Get your flu and polio shots, but for the hard stuff, always do your research first before you get more sick than you already are. And always get second opinions. For someone more impartial, you can save yourself a lot of trouble just by checking for class action lawsuits. I know your life has been really hard, but know that I love you for who you are. The world needs more people like you. You never let anything get in the way of your heart being true.
The world needs more people like you too. The selflessness it takes to share the burden. You're a real-life superhero. Thanks to you, I'm no longer hurting. Doctors prescribed those drugs, and he didn't want to live like that anymore. I don't blame him. They decreased his mobility drastically and made him too tired to enjoy the best things in life. This was more than just a series of unfortunate coincidences because it could have been avoided. If the medical professionals hadn't overlooked what should have been obvious to them, if they hadn't pumped him full of drugs hoping to fix the other problems caused by drugs, if they hadn't been out to make money off those drugs at the expense of a human life. There probably wasn't anything they could have done about neuropathy, but they didn't have to make it worse. Pointing fingers isn't gonna bring him back, but hopefully it might save someone else's life. To hell with Big Pharma. Get second opinions, check for lawsuits, find someone who isn't in it for the money. I shouldn't have held it against him because I have similar issues. I knew better, that's on me. Everything caused by the mental illness, that's not who he was, and that's not how he's going to be remembered. The illness might have made him refuse to admit his faults or listen to ideas different than his own, but really, he was selfless. He loved to do nice things for everyone around him. And unlike most men his generation, he had no problem talking about his feelings. That made him strong. That's who he was, and that's how he's going to be remembered. He just needed help, and those that could were unwilling. End the stigma. It's okay to seek help.